Out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
And today on the Hanging Out feature, I am with someone who is just incredibly talented, internationally renowned, award-winning choreographer Gregory Maqoma. And he's going to be hanging out with us between now and 11 o'clock. He's also the founder of Vuyani Dance Theatre. It's a platform that supports and nurtures young African dancers. I said earlier to people that you are such a legend, a creative force. Gregory, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to the listeners.
I butchered your surname earlier. I've always thought it's Maqoma. And one was like, it's Mango.
You're not the only one.
Yeah? Yeah? People think it's Maqoma.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been written in so many ways, but yeah, it is Maqoma.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I couldn't be more happier this week because it's been a maze of amazing news.
Yeah. You are never in South Africa.
Well, I say I live in South Africa, but I work somewhere else. But yeah, I am here. I live here.
Yeah. Every time I follow you on Instagram, so I always see you. You're in Europe, you're in the US, you're always traveling and just holding the South African flag high. So we appreciate you for that. I want to ask you about how you feel about the performance Musa at Britain's Got Talent.
Sure.
How incredible was that?
Hey, I haven't stopped crying. I mean, every time somebody sends me a message or sends me a video, I'm begging to. It's been like, when you see a moment like this, it's like it's a moment that I've lived to witness in my life, because Musa is such a genuine, such a gentle soul, and for him to go out on that stage and not just perform to excellence but to make history, that is phenomenal. It's extraordinary.
That's incredible. When did he start working with you guys at the Vuyani Dance?
He came for auditions in 2018, and this was an open audition, so everyone had a chance, an equal chance to make it into our training program. And he walked in with 2 crutches, and I remember taking a moment to say, okay, what is this that we're going to be facing? How is this going to work? And one thing that I've said to the panel, we're sitting on the audition, I said, we're not going to treat him any differently. He has to fight for his spot. He has to show that he has everything that we are looking for someone that is of a caliber of a dancer that we want to train at Vuyani Dance Theatre. And he did that. He fought for his space and he got in.
Yeah. You may have, if you haven't checked out this video, go check out Musa Motab, who was one of the lead dancers on Sion?
Yeah, he was one of the lead dancers.
On Sion,
yeah.
And he was on Britain's Got Talent, and he had everybody in tears after his audition, and he's made it to the final. After his audition, everybody was standing and was just amazed at how incredible he is. I mean, the talent, it's just incredible. Why did you decide to start Vuyani Dance Theatre?
Sure, it was in 1999, and I was a student in PARTS, Performing Arts Research and Training Studios in Belgium, and it was an opportunity for me to look at South Africa from the outside. And I wanted to be part of the changing, growing artistic landscape. And it was critical and important for me to also to go back home, or when I come back home, I needed a space that was going to address my own frustrations, that was going to address my own stories, that was going to, I wanted to fit into a space where it was about me. It was about my surroundings, it was about my stories, it was about my ancestral heritage. And hence Vuyani Dance Theatre was created. It was a space for us as Black young dancers to find a home that can unleash our own stories. It's a space where we can realize our own dreams.
You were the head choreographer for the FIFA World Cup kickoff concert in Soweto. You have toured extensively, performing at prestigious venues worldwide, captivating audiences. And one thing you pick up with your work, and you'll tell me what you think, is, I mean, there are so many themes that you explore, whether it's identity, is social justice. How do you use dance as that medium to explore and communicate these complex concept.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Soweto, where I was brought up, I was brought up close to a hostel which housed migrant workers who were coming from different parts of Southern Africa, and over the weekends I would watch their dances, their traditional forms. And it dawned on me years later that their dance was their escape, was their way of dealing with their own trauma, was their way of dealing with their own frustrations. And against that, there was an array of political tension in our own environment. So I grew up with smoke that was emanating from the chimneys. I grew up with smoke from burning tires, but also the smell of flesh. Of bodies, because people were burned. And I could not make work without making reference to all of that. So all the work that I'm creating, you will always see that there's smoke. There's always something that is a scent that is reminding us of where we come from. And it's quite critical for me to continue to amplify on the message of humanity, because it is the only way that we can learn from history, by repeating it in a way that it can touch people differently, and somehow we can be able to learn from that.
Yeah, out of the work of yours that I have seen, I've never been left not moved and inspired. And which is something about the work you do, is you are able to capture the audience, and like there's no one is saying anything, it's just dance. But you are sitting there watching people dance, but they're communicating something to you. And I was showing you videos of my favorite part of Sion.
Yes.
I mean, how do you do that, where you are able to capture the audience for this long, and there is no exchange of words? They're just looking at people express themselves through dance. Like, that's got to take so much more than just the talent of being able to move.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say, the dance I create is beyond the euphoria of what the movement is able to give us. The euphoria, you get it in a club, you dance because you're responding to the music. My dance is about my own reality. My dance is about the reality of many South Africans, of many Africans, of those who are displaced in so many parts of the world. And so it is real. It speaks to the reality of our time. And I respond to that.
Yeah. We're going to be taking some WhatsApp voice notes. 072-702-1702. You can give us a call as well on 011-883-0702. We're celebrating Gregory this morning. And please tell me what kind of work you have watched of Gregory and what you've enjoyed. For me, it's got to be Sion. I was very disappointed now when he told me it's not coming back this year. It just finished in KwaZulu-Natal. But what an incredible production. I went to see it twice, and I was going to see it for the third time if it was coming back this year. I hope it will be back at some point. So what have you seen? I've seen his show, Simpuetana show, Moya. Not Umoya, Moya. He choreographed that. Maybe you've seen the internationally acclaimed production, The Head and the Load, by South African artist William Kendridge. Did you check that out? Some of you sent us voice notes a couple of weeks ago after watching that, because it finally debuted in South Africa, and it was choreographed by Gregory. There are many, many other works, and we'll talk about some of his work that's coming back this month. So 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. We've got some of your favorite songs here, and I noticed most of them are local except one.
Yes.
What do you love the most about Tina Turner? She wasn't just a singer, hey?
She wasn't just a singer. She's a performer.
Yeah.
I mean, her story, is a story that we're very familiar with, particularly when we're coming from households that you were brought up by a mother and a father, and there was always that kind of tension.
Yeah.
But one thing that was Tina was that my mother's wigs were never safe growing up in my teen years, because I will go out and create shows.
Yes.
And I had already, an audience in my community. People would come in and just watch me being Tina Turner.
Yeah.
And it was part of the beginning of my performance life, without even knowing that I was really now
Did
starting
you know how
a
to rock
career.
the leg thing that she used to
The
do?
leg thing, the twists, everything.
She was a
And the head my neck was always sore because
and she still did that.
she still did
when
it.
she was like 60.
In her 70s, yeah.
In 70s.
Yeah.
That's just incredible. We've lost a legend.
Oh man, bless her soul.
What a talent. 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApps are coming on 072-702-1702. I'm going to ask you to please put on your headphones for the calls and the WhatsApps.
Tabo here. Look, I mean, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we are all proud of Greg and what he's achieved. He's always captivating us with his work. Big up. I love every single piece that you've done. I always try and watch all of your shows when you're in Joburg. Much love, my brother.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabo.
Hi, good morning, Clement. Yeah, you got a legend there. Very inspiring. I watched this video where he was doing, I think, in England. I shed a tear. It's very powerful. So, well done to him. Thank you. It's Clement in Mamelodi. Bye.
Clement, thank you very much.
Thank you, Clement.
How are you able to do that? Because when I look at your work, there's this thing you do where you blend your traditional African movement with contemporary dance techniques, and it becomes this extraordinary work. Is that intentional? And how do you go about approaching that choreography in that manner?
Sure. I mean, I call my aesthetic a cocktail. It's a fusion of different
That's what it
forms
is.
and cultures and histories. And it's a cocktail that keeps you sober, but it takes you on a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
And because I've learned, I've always been a sponge. I was a curious child when I started dancing. I wanted to be in everyone's class, and I wanted to learn everything that was thrown me. So all of that became really a cocktail. So at the end, I'm producing a cocktail. It's a fusion of all these things that I have learned.
It's an amazing cocktail, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Let's go to the calls now. Aubrey in Joburg, hi.
Hi there, Clement. Good morning. Good morning to your listeners. Macombs.
Hey, Ops. How are you?
Oh, very well. Clement, in front of you sits a creative compadre of mine, a brother who I've been blessed to work with over the years, working on projects he was, inputting into creatively with James Ngobo. And, we've missed an opportunity or two here and there to collaborate outside of the environment in which we met. But you sit with somebody who I'm glad you're giving flowers to at this moment rather than, God forbid, touch wood, when he's late. I just love how Greg, over the past couple of years, has truly emerged as the South African dance export that he was overdue to be acknowledged as, for so long. I love how, and as you aptly pointed out, how he fuses and he puts out a cocktail, which is something I firmly believe in. I think the artistic expression is a global language, but it's very important for us to infuse our identity within that. And I've just been proud. I mean, I think you saw him at the Maxhosa launch of the new range, winter range. Just how Greg takes the discipline of dance, whether it's ballet or contemporary, they always make sure that he infuses within that a sense of culture and a sense of historic relevance. And even, our contemporary social discourse infuses that. I just love how he's been open and how he's been a contributor and open to collaborating with people who are not even within the dance world, but as long as there's an artistic expression there and there's a language that can be found in finding synergy, he's always come to the table. Macombs, I say all the best to you. We'll have a coffee soon and we'll pick up where we left off.
Thank you, Ops. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. Obs, thank you so much for calling. Aubrey Paul, of course, is an actor himself. Thank you so much for that call. I said to the listeners earlier that what often surprises me about you is you're so soft-spoken. And then you get on stage. I'm like, who's that? And I always struggle with, and I suppose that's the thing about artistry, right? Like when you are an artist, you know, there's, and I don't know with you if like, do you trance and get into, okay, now I'm doing this? Because when I see you on stage, I mean, you can be so intense and you can move me, and I'm thinking, geez. And then you sit, you talk to me, and you're like, you're so soft-spoken. Yeah. How do you get? Do you get into a trance, or how do you, when you're on stage? Are you the same, Gregory?
Well, I mean, I can say, you know, there are two faces of Gregory.
Yeah.
The one is that he's a gentle soul who wants to, who's very open to ideas, and there's one who is the work, and the work has an amazing, absolute crazy ego, and it is the ego that lives in that work. A lot of people say I go into trance, and I say, actually, I don't know. Perhaps I do, because fundamentally I prepare for every single work. I put on hours and hours in order for me to refine the quality of the work. But I think what is critical and important is that once I'm on stage, then there are no compromises.
Yeah.
It is about the work, and the ego shows up.
Yeah. It's 10:31. We're hanging out with Gregory Maqoma this morning, and I'll be going to your calls, your WhatsApps in a moment. There's someone who's asking, Gregory, because you've performed on prestigious stages worldwide, and someone wants to know, is there a particular work you have done that is your most favorite to this day?
Sure. I mean, it's always a difficult question, because every work, you know, becomes your favorite. But if I had to single out one work, is Exit Exist, because that's the work that's speaking to my ancestral lineage, focusing on the story of Musa Motab, who was at odds with the British in the Eastern Cape over land. And this year marks 150 years since his passing from Robben Island. So that's the work that I feel like it's closest to my heart.
And this is back at the Market Theatre.
It's back at the Market Theatre from the 22nd of June.
Until
the 25th.
22nd of June. How do people get their tickets?
Through web tickets, or you can call the Market Theatre. But the best is to go through web tickets.
I can't wait for that. I did receive my invitation, so I'm excited about it. Let's go to Leslie in Johannesburg. Leslie, hi.
Hi, it's Leslie. It's Leslie speaking.
Sure, Leslie. Go ahead.
Greg, I just want to actually say hi, and on radio just say a few things about Greg. The main thing that I love about Greg's shows is he has brought a new dynamic audience into theatre. Before, it was a previously old white audience, and every show which I go to, and I go to every one of his shows, there's a new, diverse, young audience. And Greg, as you know, I've known you for years, and I feel that your shows have just matured, and every single show is totally different and just brings a new aspect into theatre and dance.
Thank you, Les. Thank you very much.
Every single one of your shows is an absolute masterpiece, and you are a genuine South African asset. And I just wish that all the powers in the Department of Sports and Arts and Recreation see you for being one of our most talented dancers and choreographers ever.
Thank you very much. Hugely appreciated, Les. See you soon.
Okay.
Thank you, Les. Thank you for calling. Thabo, you are in Randburg. Hi.
Hi, Clement. Hi, Greg. Regrettably, I have not caught any of your shows, and I feel so bad. However, I do have an appreciation of the struggles of the artist industry. My question to you is, in the event that you had a lift conversation with Uzizi Kodwa, one, what would you say to him about the challenges of the artistry environment? And number two, what would the recommendations be to him insofar as improving the artistry environment in South Africa so that it is not that stepchild or nice to have, especially when they start talking budget? And may you keep up the great work in what you do.
Thank you.
Tibos.
Thank you, Thabo. Thabo, yeah, I mean, those are great questions. I mean, firstly, if I were to sit down with Minister Zinzikodwa, one of the first things I will say, you know, we have, if this country was to be the best in creative output, we've got to put more money in terms of making sure that artists are valued, and secondly, that there is a space and that can allow creativity to emerge. We've got to make arts and culture to be part of the education system. There's no going around it. Because if we give a child an opportunity to be creative and to experience the arts and to be experimental with that, that is the only way we can create the next geniuses of tomorrow. Whether they are scientists or whether they are mathematicians, they need the arts. So that is the first thing I will say, open up, let the arts be part of the curriculum at schools. And then the second question will be, what are the recommendations? That's, I think I've said it, you know, it's one of those recommendations. But secondly is that we have the white paper, which has been in circulation since 1996. What we need for that white paper is the implementation. And we've got to be very clear with the vision of the white paper, because it outlines every single thing that needs to be done. What the department needs to do is to look at that white paper and implement.
What are they doing with that paper now?
I don't know.
It's sitting somewhere.
It is sitting, but it has gone through a lot of refinement. There's been all these calls for it to be redesigned and re-looked at, and all of those processes have taken place. It's the implementation.
Yeah. Okay, 18 minutes before 11 o'clock. Here's another song that is a big favorite of Gregory Maqoma. This one is by Simpiwe Dana.
Hi Clement, this is Boo. I'm just listening to Tina Turner and thinking, we grew up like Greg go Orlando, we call him Boboy to date. It all started Guyana Tina Turner and just about any other female artist at the time. I think about Donna Summer and stuff. I don't know, they just used to bring out, whether you call it the worst or the best in him, but when he started Tina Turner, Ali failure Sahlapa, and he'd just be dancing in the street all day without remembering when he must go home, alo, ja, or anything. And it was a joke, but look at where he is today. We're so proud of you, boy. Kiss Boo, Baba.
Those are clap when no busy jive, guy. You know, picking up all the dots.
When did you know though that you wanted to be a dancer, and what inspired you?
Sure, I mean that's a long short question, because it was the decision of my family and my school that I was going to be a medical doctor. I was going to study medicine. And when I couldn't secure a bursary to go and study, I then opted to go for a full-time training in dance. It is at that time, at moving into dance, that I realized that, wow, there's something very special here that can not only transform myself as a performer, but it can really change the lives of so many.
Yeah.
So and I opted to dance.
But then when you were younger, because
I was always dancing.
You just remember always dancing.
I was always dancing. I was always my mother always made a platform whenever we had family gatherings, and I'll be Michael Jackson, I'll be Tina Turner. So I always had an audience in front of me. But as with to be a dancer or to choose to be a dancer at that time was really a phenomenon, because our parents have always said, you're going to be a medical doctor, you're going to be a teacher. Those are the kind of careers we feel like they are suited for our own children.
Yeah. Was it any form of an escape to you, dancing, especially at the young age? I was telling you off air that I mean, some listeners who know my dancing skills will think I'm ridiculous. But when I was young, I honestly wanted to be a contemporary dancer. Because I would get into my room and I'm just falling on the floor and I'm doing stuff with my hand. And for some reason, I what I remember is I would be able to, if I was feeling sad, that's how I was dealing with it at the time. And I'm interested with you, was it a thing of, it was an escape, or I just enjoyed doing it, and all I remember is I just loved dancing from when I was young?
Absolutely, it was an escape. I mean, whenever I was feeling sad, that was the moment I was able to unleash every single thing that was prohibiting me from being myself. And it was also dealing with my own trauma of growing up in Soweto at the time where there was this political unrest. So dance became my escape, a way to channel my own trauma.
So have you seen some of my dancing skills?
I've seen some of it.
Do you
now.
think I'm beyond? Am I beyond? Or can I actually be, is it that bad?
Yeah, I don't know. Clement, people say to me, you're a magician, you can make anything, dance.
I mean, surely you can do something with me,
But it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
Yeah, for someone to say, I want to be a dancer, particularly at your age, it's going to take a lot of courage.
Okay, here's a message from Sakila. Says, Clement, good morning. I would like to say to Mr. Maqoma, please keep going on and all. Your art is just incredible. Your creativity, you've been amazing. Stay blessed. That's Sakila in Durban. Thank you so much, Sakila, for the message. And then Mark says, Clement, thank you for having this amazing artist in your studio. My first intro to his work was at a Simpiwe Dana concert at the State Theatre. I love his work. That's more, yeah, ne?
Yeah, that's
you choreographed.
Yes.
When I was listening to this song we just played by Simpiwe Dana, Mayine, I was just thinking, when Gregory was hearing the beat and the melody, he was probably thinking, this is where we're gonna do this. Was there a favorite song that you enjoyed actually choreographing more than the others?
Yeah, I mean, Mayine is one of those songs.
Yeah.
Every time I come back into a production of Simpiwe Dana or even mine, I mean, this is a song that we also use in Exit Exist. There's always a new way of injecting freshness into the choreography through the song.
Yeah.
So I've always loved it. It's always moved me in so many ways. But also, apart from the fact that it's my favorite, it's also a favorite of my sister, Lebu Tambo, is her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Lebs.
So yeah, it's one of those songs that really is moving. And I want to say to our country today is that through this song we must always remember to fight for courage. We must always remember to fight for our blessings and let it fall, let it rain so heavily. Let that courage and blessing and progress rain.
Yeah.
Hi, Clem. I've known Greg for quite a while and followed his work for quite a while as well. I keep going back and back for more. I think one of my favorites was watching Musa perform Sion with the Soweto Gospel Choir at Joburg Theatre a year or two ago, and I think it was just absolutely breathtaking to see the production. And Greg, well done. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Tembinkosi in Blue Hills here.
Thank you, Tembinkosi.
Thank you, Tembinkosi. Here's another song. The certain artists I listen to, I'm like, we don't deserve you.
Yeah.
You're just too good.
Yeah.
This world doesn't deserve you. This is one of your favorite songs.
Oh, I mean, she is my favorite as well, because her artistry is just beyond our shores. And it's one of those artists like, I want to work with her actually. Yeah. I know I want to work with her.
Well, you're still here. Are you planning on retiring anytime soon?
I am retiring from stage, from performing, but I will continue making work and mentoring young people. I think it's where I want to focus my life at now. But I'm also writing. So I've got 2 books that are coming up in October. A children's book and a young adult book.
That's beautiful. Well, look, Greg, thank you so much for making time to come hang out with us. I've really enjoyed this, and we appreciate you so much. Your talent, the themes that you explore, the messages, what you get us to think about, even after your shows, is just incredible. And we just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll see you at Exist. It's on the 22nd of June.
22nd of June to the 25th.
Yeah, go to Web Tickets if you want to get yourself some tickets and come watch one of these brilliant shows by Gregory Maqoma. It's 11 o'clock.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's Walk the Talk.